What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the worst training injuries I've had and how you can go about preventing or healing them once they happen. If there's similar experiences that you have had where you're just going, oh my gosh, my lower back or my neck. Now, first of all, keep in mind, I'm not a physiotherapist, I'm not a medical expert, I'm just giving you guys what has worked for me after years and years of being injured. So if you have a really terrible injury, definitely seek out proper medical advice. But today, hopefully I'll be able to help you just a little bit. All right, guys, this is just education, my part, not medical advice. So just keep that in mind. Now we're moving in to the lower back. Let's talk first about how I hurt my lower back and how severe it got. Throughout the years, throwing round kick after round kick after round kick, my hip flexors just tightened up. And bit by bit, my lower back became more and more inflamed, more and more in pain, until eventually one day I went to lean down and splash water on my face over the sink, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get my back that far down. It hurt so much. I had to put one hand on the counter and use one hand to splash water on my face. So it took a long time and a lot of steps for me to get back to the point now where I can move properly and I can throw everything and there's no pain anymore. And I'm going to show you guys a few of the exercises that I keep up with. If I don't keep up with these exercises, I notice the back get a little bit of pain. So just keep up with me here. I'm going to take you through each exercise. We're going to start with a hip lift, kind of like a bridge off one leg. So what I'm looking to accomplish on this is I have my knees tight together, my feet tight together. I place both hands up. I elevate my hips. Once I've elevated my hips, I extend one leg out, keeping my knees tight together. I hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. I rechamber the leg. I drop. I lift. I do the other side. I just go through 10 of these. And if you can do this at the beginning of every training session, just to warm up your lower back, help to get the muscles just stabilizing and strengthening, I find it to be super beneficial, super practical motion, just to make sure you're keeping everything strong. It doesn't need to be deadlifts or something like that. Oh, I guess a deadlift's not even really for your lower back, but just going through these has made a world of difference for me. There are so many other exercises that we can do. One of the other ones which I really like is stretching out the hip flexors. If I just go to this position, I don't really feel too much. So I have to do a few other little things. The first one that I like to do is I like to think hips fall forward. From there, the arm that is opposite to the lead leg raises high into the sky. And then if I really want to increase the stretch, I can either put a chair on my foot or I can reach back, grab my foot, and now from there, the stretch, the pain is almost nauseating. And I'll usually hold this for about 30 seconds. Just open up the hip flexors. Just an amazing way to keep all the muscles in there loose, and then all the muscles that connect together, that helps them just stay less aggravated. A final one that I use, if I go on a fight trip, I just grab a towel, I roll the towel up. You want to make sure the towel is not too thick. I very simply just lay back, I put it right under my lower ribs, and I just lay on that. I'll just stay there for 5 minutes and just working on rounding out the curve of the spine nicely. A lot of times after a long flight on an airplane, I find that I'm really stiff and I don't really have anybody there, none of my physio experts, my athletic therapists, to help me with any lower back pain. So just going into this position and just relaxing just seems to open everything up and take away any lower back pain that I might have. The next injury that has been super severe for me has been neck pain. First it was the lower back, and then after I got that healed, my neck went. It got so bad at one point that I could turn about 45 degrees off the left, and to the right, I was probably going about 30 degrees. That was my range of motion. Now, I can get back to a full, well, almost 90, and right on 90. So I'm almost there. Now, what we do a lot of times when people try to increase their neck flexibility, they just full on grab and pull, look as far as they can. The one that made a big difference for me was simply doing this. I look to the side and I just go to a comfortable level. I put my hand on my chin and I push back, and there's just resistance for 5 seconds. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I relax, move my head a little further. That to me right now feels like I'm kind of maxed out. Again, I push with my fingers on my chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like 30% resistance of what I could actually do. And now I can move my head a little further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little further. And it just helps mobilize. Now the other one which I really like doing is making sure I'm elongating and crunching the neck in. So I go from here, and then I make a double chin. Just go back and forward, just maybe 20 of those at the beginning and the end of each workout I do. And for me, that has made a world of difference to now very rare. Very rare. It doesn't matter if I do clench or if I was doing jiu-jitsu and I was getting people ragdolling me around on my neck or putting pressure on my neck, I don't get the same pain that I used to where my mobility was so limited. All right, from here, we are talking about wrist injuries. The wrist injury is one that plagued me for years. It was so bad that sometimes I'd throw a punch and I'd have to stop in the middle of the round. And it just lasted for years and years. And I was wrapping, I was doing everything I thought I needed to. And then one day I went, you know what? What if I just take a little roll of hockey tape and I just go around my wrist 2 or 3 times. I lock it out so it's nice and straight. I start up at the bottom of the hand and I give maybe 3 rotations around. I went 1, 2, and 3. Now, from there, you can do this so many times, right? You're not going to use up a lot of tape doing this. And this isn't all you need to do. But now look at the difference. This one can rotate so far. This one, that's all I can do. Up and down. This one can collapse and go up. This one has a much more limited range of motion. Now, I have to still wrap. I still do a proper wrap. And one of the concerns with most people when they do this is they go, oh, it rips my hair off. Well, a lot of fighters don't have a lot of hair on their body anyway. A lot of people shave it off. So if you need to, just, go and shave the hair off your arms or just deal with it and rip it off, just kind of wax it off after, I suppose. But this one for me made a world of difference. I no longer have wrist pain, and it took, I don't even know, maybe like a decade before I realized something this simple will fix an injury what has plagued me for so long. And it's so frustrating when you love hitting stuff, but every time you do, it hurts. So guys, try this out. Hopefully it'll help you. The next injury that plagued me for a long time was the right middle knuckle. I hurt it in a fight one time, and then in sparring a couple more times, and then it didn't matter what glove I put on, I'd throw a punch and the knuckle would just get so inflamed. And I could take a month break in between fights. I'd fight, take a month break, come back, and right away, first session, it would just be so painful. And now I've sorted it out thanks to hand physiotherapists. It was such a simple fix. It took 2 sessions, and then I just had to keep up with these motions on my own. Again, you'll want to go and check out with somebody who's an actual professional if you have your own injuries, because this won't fix everything, but it fixed it for me. A little rubber band, and I just went like this, in and out, in and out. I would do that about 30 times, about 3 times a day for 2 weeks. I started with that motion, and then I went to this motion here where I keep my finger crunched in. I put the elastic band around and I just extend against it, just like so. Again, same thing, just about 30 times. I'm not trying to finger you guys. And then the last one which I used, I actually used a sponge, but I didn't have one around, so I just took up a big woolly sock here, put my fingers in between, and I'm just going to actively squeeze together. And what we forget, oh, it's so fatiguing. What we forget is all these little muscles in here are going to affect the bone and everything around it. So not working them and just hoping that things fix themselves is just not going to be a solution. I haven't done these in a while because, like I said, my knuckles being top notch, no injuries, but I'm already fatiguing just after 6 or 7 of these. So these little motions, just if you're sitting at a desk and you're doing something, maybe you're on a Zoom call or something, you have your hand down and you just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Or, you're in between typing and you just do your little finger exercises with a band. All these will help your hands get that much stronger. These are things you've seen Floyd Mayweather do in the past to help with his hand injuries because he also had them. And I have tried sticking my hands in buckets of rice and moving them around. It didn't do anything for me. These were the solutions that solved everything. The final injury we're going to talk about today, which really did plague me for a while, was a knee injury, ACL in particular. And I just want to show you guys 2 of the motions that I keep up on all the time. I find if I stop them, that the injury will come back. But if I keep these up, I'm okay. The first one that we do is just putting a towel underneath our knee. a little bend, and I'm going to push my knee down towards the ground as much as I can. It won't look like I'm doing anything. I just go from here to there. And I just push, 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 push. This would actually be beneficial for me to have something a little bit thicker, just because this is a little too thin. So I'm just gonna do this for myself here. There we go, that's a little better. So now when I push down, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm actively working right on the inside, outside of the knee. I feel both of those activate, and then I just relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll just do that about 20 times. Usually 20 times on each knee, because I find that with both my knees being injured in jiu-jitsu, that I just have to keep up on these. And it just has made a world of difference for me. The other one, which makes my legs shake, I'll show you guys 5 here. I pull my knee to my chest and I straighten my back out as much as I can. This is even better if you have a wall. You can put your tailbone to the wall and your upper back to the wall, and you're 100% straight. And I lock this leg out, I pull my toes up, and I simply lift as high as I can, not activating from my hip flexor, but right in here, and I hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys are gonna see in a second that I'm not gonna be able to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm a world champion kickboxer, and I can't even hold up my own leg. Let's go a couple more here just because you guys will see I'm losing height now. I can't lift it up. I'm starting to get the quiver in my leg. Now that's as high as it goes. And I'm getting the shake. And I'm challenging those muscles right there in a way that they're not used to. And it helps, just for some reason for me, stabilize the knee and keep everything safe, so that when I go for runs, when I do my cross training, I'm not feeling that aggravation, which I felt for years and years, because of those little tears, those minor tears, which I had around the knee. And guys, that's everything. I mean, I've had more injuries, but those off the top of my head are the ones that really plagued me, the 5 which really bugged me. And as long as I keep up with those exercises I showed you today, I'm healthy, I'm fine, and they're not constantly reoccurring. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel and get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard, and see you back here soon for another video.